A foul smell from her newly adopted dog resulted in a police intervention only to reveal an unspeakable truth. It doesn't take long for our pets to become a member of the family. Their unconditional love can't be compared to anything in the world. Our pets are the most beautiful part of our lives, and in return, all they ask from us is a little love and care. This woman who adopted a dog when she saw a post online was really happy and excited. She knew this dog will be the one and was ready to take responsibility for this dog. Everything was going fine between this woman and the dog until one day, she realized something about the dog which seemed out of place. Soon everything changed and the woman found that this dog is not what she thought he might be. Who doesn't love dogs, right? The journey gets more exciting and thrilling when a dog lover gets an opportunity to own one. Even Kelly was very excited when she saw a post about this dog, and it was the best moment of her life when she met the dog for the first time to take him to his new home. She already decided to give him all the care and love that was needed. If you're a proud owner of a dog, then you might remember the first day you brought your pet home. It was the most beautiful day of your life. You couldn't have been more excited, and there was nothing that worried you at the moment. But for Kelly, who was celebrating her day with her new friend, wasn't filled with the excitement she thought she might be. The moment the dog sat on the front seat of her car, she knew something was not right. She wasn't sure of the problem, but her senses were telling her that there's something she's missing. Soon, things got worse, and she had no other option but to call the cops. Why did she do that? Kelly was already a proud owner of a dog named Brewer. She knew another dog in her family was more than welcome. Kelly doesn't like to buy a dog from the pet shop. Instead, she believes in adopting one. She likes to help dogs who are in need, and purchasing one doesn't go with her beliefs. Soon, she was about to meet the dog she'll never forget for her entire life, and soon this dog will change her life. Kelly has been searching for dogs who were up for adoption, and luckily she found one. It was a white pit bull named Rocco. It was a white pit bull mix named Rocco. It was just perfect for her, and the moment she saw Rocco, she knew this was the dog she'd been looking for. She didn't think anything and completed all the paperwork that was required after you adopt a dog. Finally, he was home. We told you that Kelly was looking for a dog that was up for adoption, but did you know how she found Rocco? She was lying on the couch and was going through her Facebook feed when she saw a post that had Rocco's picture on it. She was surprised to see that Rocco was on sale for just $50. And it was not Rocco's owner who posted it on Facebook, but it was the owner's roommate. Even the day when she meant to meet Rocco for the first time, the owner wasn't there, and the roommate did all the proceedings with Kelly. Kelly didn't think about it much and was looking forward to taking Rocco home as soon as possible. Kelly knew that Rocco was the one that she was looking for, and she couldn't wait to get him home. The owner of Rocco wasn't on the scene, so she made the offer to his roommate. Kelly had to wait for a few days before Rocco can be hers. She already made the offer and was now waiting for them to get back to her. Kelly was waiting for their response and was getting impatient with every passing day. When it comes to a dog, she starts behaving like a toddler who just wants his toys beside him. She couldn't wait much longer and decided to visit Rocco. Surprisingly, even Rocco was very happy to see Kelly, and the moment she arrived, Rocco ran toward her and started wagging his tail like crazy. Who wouldn't love this dog? Just look at him. He's one of the sweetest and playful dogs she'd ever come across. Finally, he was home and Brewer met his new friend. Everything was going perfectly and Kelly was excited when she brought Rocco home. They both connected so well that it felt like they knew each other for very long. Kelly was playing with her dogs, and it was then she noticed something. She felt like something was terribly wrong with Rocco, and even Brewer could sense as he kept barking and looking to Kelly to tell her something. It was something she hadn't imagined, and it made her really terrified. We agree that it's not a big deal when a dog smells bad, but this smell that was coming from Rocco was not a usual smell that comes from a dog. Kelly knew a lot about dogs, and she could tell the difference between a regular smell and abnormal smell. The first thing that came to her mind was the lack of hygiene, and she knew that Rocco hadn't been washed in a long time. The next thing surprised her even more. Kelly thought that the smell that was coming from Rocco could have been because of the natural bacteria that home in dogs' paws, and some even compare the smell with Fritos. Kelly thought she is just overreacting, and because of that fact, she is extra sensitive when it comes to smell. She didn't take it much seriously and continued her daily routine, but the smell was already back in her head, and every time she saw Rocco, she felt like the smell was getting stronger. Kelly was trying to convince herself by thinking that the smell is because Rocco hadn't taken a bath in a long time. But the smell was becoming unbearable for her, and it kept bothering her. She called Rocco and started investigating the reason behind the smell that was coming out of him. Rocco was wearing a harness, and half of his body was covered with it, and because of that, she couldn't tell the source of the smell. She took off the harness to investigate his body properly, and it was then she found the origin of the disgusting smell. She couldn't believe her eyes. She was seeing something unimaginable. She was in shock, and her hands were shaking vigorously. Kelly never thought this could be the reason behind this awful smell that scarred Kelly forever. When she managed to take off Rocco's harness, there was a severe 6-inch long and 1.5-inch deep cut on Rocco's chest. The cut was not that old, and she was surprised to see that Rocco didn't complain about it all along. The harness that he was wearing covered the wound entirely, and the smell was coming from it. When did he get the cut? Times like these make us wish of the possibility if animals could talk. If they could, then Rocco would have told Kelly about his wound that he hid behind his beautiful eyes. Who would have thought that there was a huge cut on his chest, and there was no way to find that because the scar was old. It was extremely infected, and Kelly knew what she had to do next. Further delay could be very futile for both Rocco and Kelly. She took him to the vet. So Kelly took her new dog to the animal hospital to get him all the help he required. The vet was very supportive and examined Rocco very thoroughly. The vet told Kelly that the infection is under control, and because the cut was deep, he needs to get treated as soon as possible. Before Rocco could go through an operation, the vet gave him a few antibiotics and pain reliever, and as soon as the infection was cured, Rocco would get operated. The vet asked only one thing to Kelly: how did he get the cut so severe? Kelly had no answer for that, and she stood there in silence. Even she wanted to know about it. She was relieved to know that her new dog will be fine now, and she promised herself that this is the last time she's watching little Rocco like this. She just wanted to know the reason behind his scar, which kept bugging her, but first she needs to concentrate on the operation that Rocco would be going in some days. Who would do such a thing to this little Joy? She kept thinking about that, and soon she found out everything. What was coming for her shook her to the core. Kelly found out that Rocco never felt the love he deserved and was mistreated throughout his life. The horrific truth behind his past was really shocking for Kelly. Even the vet felt like this shouldn't have happened to this cute little Rocco. Not only Rocco, but no animal should be treated the way Rocco was treated in his life. If you can't handle a pet, then don't keep one. Kelly could feel the anger was taking over her, and what she did was really surprising. The more she learned about his harsh upbringing, more her heart wept for him. The vet even told Kelly that Rocco had been wearing his harness since he was very little. They told her that there's a possibility that he grew up wearing this harness, and because of that, it became part of his skin. Kelly was in tears and didn't know what to do next. She calmed down and decided to talk to the previous owner to see if they know anything about this. Because Kelly didn't talk to the owner, so she didn't know where they found Rocco, and was he with them from the start, or did they adopt him from somewhere? What Kelly found out next was something unimaginable. Let's tell you one thing, that you should not mess with a dog lover who also happens to own one. Kelly decided to make things right, and she couldn't bear it anymore. Her little Rocco was in so much pain after all these years, and nobody did anything for him. How cruel a world can be. As expected, Kelly called the previous owner and told him about Rocco's injury, and everything was so sudden for this man that he couldn't come up with any good excuses, and Kelly noticed that. This man who got afraid of everything even tried to bribe Kelly to buy her silence. Kelly was not one of those who turns away their heads from real-life problems. Kelly did what she thought was justified. What do you think? The bribe is one of the easiest ways out, but for Kelly, this wasn't an option. She was looking for justice, and when she was sure of everything, she didn't waste any more time and called the police. Kelly told everything that had happened to Rocco, and even the police were in shock. Such inhuman act was enough for them to proceed accordingly. Since Kelly was very straightforward and the bribe didn't work on her, The previous owner and his roommate faced very serious action. They refuted every claim Kelly made regarding them and told the police that they were unaware of the wound that Rocco had on his chest. The police knew that they were lying and didn't believe the single word they said. It was time for justice. The previous owner and his roommate were sent to jail, and during their hearing, they acted all innocent. They were trying to fool the judge, who was hearing the words that came from their mouth. The owner said he made Rocco wear the harness for his own safety and to stop him from running away. The court wasn't convinced by their act and disregarded every claim they made. When the court realized that the owner and his roommate doesn't have any proper excuse for their doings, the court announced its decision. The court found them guilty of ill treatment of animals and ordered both of them to pay a fine of $1,500. Kelly didn't care about the fine, but she was feeling good of the fact that Rocco was getting justice for all the wrongdoing that had been done to him in the past. Kelly went back to the hospital with Rocco for his further examination and told the vet all about the court order and how justice was served for Rocco. The vet was very happy, and even Rocco liked the vet that they both started playing. Kelly saw how happy her pet was and decided to move on with the same smile on her face. She knew that she won't let anybody hurt him again. From the very first moment Kelly and Rocco met, there was an instant connection that couldn't be described in words. Both Kelly and Rocco liked each other's company, and Rocco became part of the family, where he found the real meaning of love and care. Kelly cannot imagine even a single day without him. "I have never felt this strong of a bond or this much love from any living thing," she said during an interview. "We think this is the cutest and purest bond between a human and a dog. What do you think?" Since Rocco was taking his medicine to cure his infection and the operation was still due, Kelly knew that things won't be the same, and it doesn't matter how hard things will get for Rocco, she'll be there for him. The operation was a success, and soon Rocco will get better. He'll be able to enjoy his life again with Kelly and Brewer. Since Rocco's cut wasn't a simple cut, it would take time for him to get completely fit. The doctors told Kelly that the wound will take around 2 months to get properly healed. The doctors also told her about the precautions she has to take so that the wound doesn't catch infection again. The doctors asked Kelly to make sure that she changed the bandage every day and that Rocco stays away from water until the time his wound is healed. Kelly was ready to take care of this little Rocco. Kelly knew that the road to recovery won't be an easy one for Rocco, and she realized in how much pain he was. Kelly made sure that he gets all the attention and love that was required. She was ready to do anything for the betterment of her little Rocco. Even Brewer made sure he was there for him, and it was just a type of love Rocco was waiting for in his life. And because of Kelly's effort and care, Rocco managed to have a speedy recovery, and in no time he was running all over the house playing with Brewer and Kelly. Kelly felt like Rocco had forgotten his horrific past and was loving his new life here in her house. The first time she saw Rocco, she knew he was the one she was looking for, and she was right. More than Rocco, it was her who needed him in her life. It is almost a year since Kelly adopted Rocco, the cutest pit bull, but the scar is still there on his chest that keeps reminding Kelly of all the suffering this dog has gone through, and because of that, she makes sure that he lives in abundance of love and care. Both Kelly and Rocco love each other and are lucky to have one another in their lives. Just like Rocco, there are other stories too, where pets who suffered mistreatment from their owners or from people around them. But their recovery is something that inspires us to do good for animals. PETA volunteers found Boss, a Chihuahua Terrier mix, who was covered with fleas, and they almost took over his body. Because of that, Boss lost his fur and his skin was visible. But today, Boss lives in a new home in New York, where the doctors and many teachers take care of him, and he is getting all the love he deserves. You'll be surprised to know that the dog you're seeing in the image is actually a pit bull named Dallas. His owner chained him outside the house and he wasn't given proper food. Because of this ill treatment, he was suffering from intestinal parasites. Fortunately, PETA caught wind about Dallas, and they took action to help him. After PETA brought him in the shelter, in no time he gained 30 pounds and was healthy again. When PETA volunteers found Coco, she was anemic and was covered in parasites. If that wasn't enough, she weighed almost half of the weight of an average dog of her breed should weigh. Thanks to PETA, who helped her and gave her all the care she needed, It was the Virginia Beach SPCA that came forward to take care of her until they find a good family for her. When Holly Berry was found, she was in chains and was kept on a muddy surface, and it was clear that the owners didn't give her proper food. Today, she has a very good family and is living under the proper care and abundance. In 2014, she won the Virginia Beach SPCA 5K. If you can notice his collar around his neck, it's almost glued to his neck. And when he was found, he was in very bad condition. He was also suffering from some serious infection that was painful, as he kept crying whenever anybody touched him. He now lives with a proper family and is enjoying his life. This pup was in very bad condition when found by PETA people. There was no fur on his body and he was sick because of heartworms. But because of the efforts of PETA and the Virginia Beach SPCA, he now has a family where he met his new friends, 1 dog and 3 cats. It seemed like Cora was tied by a chain all her life, and because of that, there was a hole on her neck that was very painful. When PETA people saw her condition, they helped her in every way possible. Because of their efforts, she found a new place for herself, where she found the true meaning of love and care. From the time of his birth, Sargent was chained and was living in very bad condition. PETA helped him out of his misery and took him under their shelter, and soon he was adopted by a psychiatrist and lives in New York. Russell, who was a stray dog, suffered severe injuries from other stray dogs, and because of that, one of his legs was seriously injured, which couldn't carry his body weight, and he has a problem walking. PETA helped this dog and made sure he got every help that was needed. He was adopted in a house where there was already 3 pups, but he got along really well. Blue was found inside a cage with the dead body of another dog who seemed like he died from starvation. PETA helped Blue and made sure justice was served, and the owner was sent to jail for his inhuman act for 12 months and was also asked to pay a fine of $425 to PETA for the veterinary bills. Blue found a new home and now lives peacefully in a good environment.